dear fans of indie car simulators, winter is coming and we are anticipating such a long-awaited game, My Winter Car. Listen carefully, this video is the second part of my previous video that was released more than a year ago. So if you haven't heard much about this game, I recommend watching that video first. I will not repeat the information from it here. Links are in the comments and in the description, and today it's only the new stuff. Topless Gun is still working on the game alone and isn't going to hire other developers. I quote, "I'm not against it, it's just I like what I do and there's little motivation to give that away. Sure, there are people helping on things I can do, and I also would like to find some people able to solve some of the technical issues, but it seems difficult. If I started to feel that someone else should do this and that, then I think it would be better to sign off completely from doing games or a particular project. I'm not expert in life, but people should do what they really love to do and stop doing things they don't." I think with this approach it becomes obvious that the release date of the new game remains a secret even for the developer himself. However, there's a hint you can expect for the release of My Winter Car after My Summer Car comes out of beta version. And yes, I have already said that, so what's new? It's the fact that the My Summer Car itself can be a platform for testing some things for a new game. After My Summer Car takes final forms, every time we load this game, we will see the progress of My Winter Car development right on the loading screen. The starting picture with the development log is not stored at your PC, though it's loaded from Topless Gun server every time. Then we will see new gameplay videos. That's what the developer promised us. My Winter Car is a logical successor of My Summer Car, that is, a sequel. A decent sequel should always be more complex, more detailed. All of this exactly describes the new game. The good news is that we will be able to adjust the difficulty of the game for those who seem to struggle with it. There is an easy mode in the game. You will be able to turn off permadeath and save yourself from unnecessary problems with assembling the car. And of course, the tough Finnish winter makes things even harder. The eternal summer of My Summer Car has come to an end, and now the survival of the main character takes a completely different turn. The developers said that the new temperature indicator will show how cold the main character is. This new freezing system is a combination of the outside temperature, the character's clothes, the amount of exercise, and how much the character sweats. The developer has not decided how the sweat indicator will look like, but together with 3 types of clothing, this is an important gameplay mechanic. If you dress a little warmer, you sweat, freeze and die. If you dress lighter, you freeze and die. This is what My Winter Car is all about. Topless Gun confirmed that the map will not expand. However, you won't be able to step in the same river twice, mainly because it will freeze too. In My Winter Car, this is not the kind of Peräjärvi that we all remember. New buildings will appear on the map, construction work on the outskirts of the city will end, the main character will find a new home, no worse than his parents' house. All over this map, whether on a frozen lake or on snow-covered roads, you will need to get to these new buildings. That's when the Peräjärvi taxi service helps us.
Oh non, pas de taxi!
What doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and I don't think I have to explain to you how a taxi will drive on the slippery roads of the Elivieskan region. We'll see about that, but for now the idea seems pretty nice. Topless Gun suggested that a taxi would be a good way to balance the winter and the transport problems related to it. Another curious gameplay feature is connected with the taxi as well. We will be able to call a cab by phone. which basically means that the phone becomes a full-blown device with which we'll be able to call anyone we want. It seems like something great, although the similar gameplay is already implemented in Monbazoo. Going back to the map, some things will still remain unchanged, and I wouldn't get upset about it. The cottage on the island is still there, the sofa has changed many owners and again ended up on the landfill. Our cousin is still driving around on a different car. We can always come back home to our parents, and the good old garage will become our savior in my winter car, because this is the only warm place where we can assemble our project car, Corys Rivet, also known as Ford Taunus in real life. Literally, I cite topless gun. Our project car is located in some house on the map. You need to get there and buy it. To deliver the car to the assembly site, you will need a tractor or trailer. Perhaps you will be able to drag the car with a towing rope. The price of the car will depend on the condition and the number of parts initially installed in it. The project car will consist of more than 100 different parts. The difference of my winter car from my summer car is that the spare parts will be divided in two types: basic and duplicated. For example, together with the car you will definitely get basic spare parts, on which you will later attach smaller parts. And you can buy them as many as you like. To simplify, I will say that the spare parts will behave like sausages or batteries from the store. For example, you can purchase 3 identical camshafts. That's what Topless Gun said. My winter car is closer to an actual car building project than my summer car, because 90% of the time goes into getting the right parts. Having a road legal and reliable car in the end is feat in itself in this game. Then having customizing and tuning is whole another level on top of that. The developer said that it will be possible to buy spare parts from different sources. One of these sources will be a magazine that is published twice a week. With it, the developer wants to create a kind of flea market, where the player can buy a couple of hundreds of used spare parts. Buying worn parts, you will significantly save on the car assembly. However, the car that you get in the result will be, well, a piece of junk. And the condition of each spare part will vary when buying. So, an experienced player will have to distinguish the fine part from junk. The developer says that parts such as the starter or fuel pump can be diagnosed by their symptoms. There will be much more spare parts that can break down. As a result, there will be more different mechanical problems and their side effects. The main idea of the assembling gameplay is that the harder it is to replace a spare part, the more obvious its condition should look. Probably, before finding a suitable part, you will have to sort through several of them. You will not be able to assemble a second car from the accumulated pile of various parts, no matter how hard you try. Therefore, in order not to overload the game engine and not to reduce FPS, it would be reasonable to take unnecessary spare parts to the landfill. The gameplay concerning the duplication of spare parts reminds me of another game, My Garage. As for the workshop, the gameplay related to the mechanic won't change much. The services will remain almost the same, adapting to the new car and new needs. But now you will have to pay after Fleetery finishes with the car. Until he gets his money, you will not get your keys. Let's discuss the car itself. When the assembly of our ride is completed, we will have to adjust the engine and to pimp the car as well. It's known that the process of tuning valves will remain the same as in my summer car, but it will be more difficult to adjust the carburetor. To improve performance, several options of camshafts will be available, as well as the ability to install a double exhaust that goes out on both sides of the car. and of course a spoiler that can be removed and put back on. Jerk it back and forth and have fun for the whole winter. Now about the important stuff. You won't be able to fully tint the windows, only the rear hemisphere. Subwoofers, CD player and the paint from using CD discs will fully come back from my summer car. Summer car. That's why it's always better to listen to the new songs on the Arviescan radio station. Let's carry on with the revet assembly. Do you remember how we suffered with the installation of electrics? The experience will be useful to us since the wiring installation system will not change. As before, we will not be able to install the wiring incorrectly. Winter also changes the assembly and usage of our beater. Severe frosts can make it much more difficult to start the engine.
You wouldn't belong getting frostbite.
Which means, for the sake of balance, the main character will get in an engine heater. The windshield covered with ice overnight can also be defrosted and cleaned. The developer promised that a rear-wheel drive car on snow will handle worse than Ferndale on grass. At the same time, he said that the player will have the opportunity to turn the situation in his favor by taking a closer look at his car. To prevent slipping, you will have to get some money and buy studded tires. Also, there will be special tires for ice skating. Of course, the summer tires will remain, but you won't be happy driving on them, and the police won't be happy either and will give you tons of fines. And I am sure that the inspector who provides you the license plates will not be happy either. And you have to visit the inspection every 1 or 2 months. If you get stuck on the way there, the sandbags that you put in the trunk in advance will come in handy. You did put them in the trunk, didn't you? Well, it's okay if one of your cars got stuck. As in good old My Summer Car, our favorite daily driver named Serbet will help you. This car will replace the blue van, and in the last video participating in the giveaway you wrote a million guesses about what kind of car it would be. This giveaway is still relevant, by the way, including the comments on this video, so the first one who will accurately name the brand and the model of Serbet will receive the license of My Winter Car in Steam on its release. Carefully read the rules on the screen and in the description. In terms of guesses, the situation is heating up like my... The thing is that the players on forums have been making a list of cars that have a chance to become prototypes of our daily driver. The list is now on the screen. Analyzing Topless Gun's answers, I first saw confirmation that one of the car is in the list, in fact the Serbet itself. But then I read that there is a similar car on the list, but only having the same base as the Serbet. It turns out that neither the brand nor the model was guessed. Summing up, I would not take this list as something specific. Anyway, before the release of the game, the developer will show Serbet in one of the gameplay teasers. This is what we will see. A reliable petrol car, pretty big for its class. The rear door can be opened, the seats can be folded, the trunk is spacious. Inside you can find a heater, outside studded tires. This car won't let you down in winter. Oh shit. Topless Gun mentioned that he could show the car in one of My Summer Car updates. According to the idea, in addition to the ending with Suzuki, there could be another ending when main character sold his Satsuma and bought himself this very Serbet. As for me, I would sell Rivet and Serbet for God's sake and buy my good old Satsuma back. Still, we won't see some cars. We will never see such a gorgeous Czechoslovak masterpiece as the station wagon or Ruska. The muscle car, which the mechanic kindly gave us to drive, will become a decoration, giving its place to another car, which one Topless Gun himself has not yet decided. It is known that there is an idea to make a two-door car from 50s or 60s with an automatic gearbox and just as useless as Ferndale. Presumably, this is an American car. The car will have its own livery as well. Of course, this means that the mechanic himself will also remain in the game. Yet here's one thing, in my summer car, about 6 years ago the developer himself voiced the mechanic's lines, and today he forgot how to voice Fleetery. And there is good news, the developer denied my assumption and the assumption of other guys from the forums that the uncle will not live up to the winter, and I like it. Together with Uncle, his heritage will remain a fully working but slightly more tired shit truck. Winter is winter, but the people in Perajärvi shit no less than in summer. There will be so much work that you will get tired of refueling the truck. To refuel it, you need to keep left mouse button pressed. And I think you are smart guys, and you will always find something to press this button with. At the same time, the need for firewood increases in winter. Pins have to somehow survive in order not to freeze. Our main character will hurry to help them heat their homes, delivering firewood with his super tractor. In this job, in comparison with my summer car, the gameplay will not change in any way. We can earn a little extra money by delivering something else. The developer will give us the opportunity to work as a delivery man. What exactly will we deliver, nobody knows yet. But Topless Gun is definitely certain about one of the biggest innovations, the permanent work of the main character. And I am sure that he will not tell us in detail what we will do in the game until the last. But I managed to collect a couple of facts. The main job involves traveling on the map from point A to point B. Some time ago in the news with Cassidy I have already mentioned the device that records the beginning and the end of our shift. This device appeared for a reason. The work has a flexible schedule and assumes that we will work a certain number of hours a week, otherwise we will be fired forever. Depending on how long we have worked, we can have day offs. A salary will be given to us weekly. When the probation period ends, the salary will increase and then will become constant. There will be neither fines nor bonuses. And I hope that the reward in work in progress will bring us pleasure, although for me constant work on a schedule brings nothing but disappointment. In the later stages of the development, Topless Gun is thinking of adding another fun, working as a full-time logging truck driver. There will be a required infrastructure on the map, a sawmill and a crane. Using it, you load logs into a trailer and take them somewhere with a company truck. The truck is a Finnish Sisu of another model, known to us under the Gifu manufacturer. Naturally, if something happened to it, we will be fired too, of course, forever. In any case, if we are fired, we will be paid unemployment benefits. Quoting the words of the developer, "At the slightest prospect of flying on the coach and drinking beer, no one will want to work." That's a strong statement, and we will definitely check it out. The development of this gameplay is nearly completed. The textures and voice acting are all that is left to do. As I have already said, we will not see the game until my summer car is fully released. That is, when it will take its final form and stop updating. I think when it happens, the popularity of the game will begin to fade quickly, and most of the players will move into a new developing game altogether. But here's the question, my winter car is planned to be both a more complex, a more mature game, a permanent job, pregnant Suske, the rough Finnish winter. I know that many players did not like the complication of my summer car when the developer introduced spoiling food, batteries, fuses, prison sentences, when the useful transport at the start was removed. If my winter car will be even more difficult, will you still play it? Write your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Merry Christmas, guys. Oh shit.